as well as the
Okay,
parents. And
so among the standard classes, among the standard school subjects is civics. And I want to have a civics activity which includes email your congressman, email your state representative, email your mayor.
So a lot of this is fairly U.S.-centric, I notice.
What? They have congressmen and senators and mayors in all these Latin American countries.
They all have email.
We're giving them email.
We're
You
giving
mean
the
do
congressman
that?
email in Uruguay? That's awesome.
Well, I should hope
In
that if
Uruguay they do.
I should hope that any country that puts laptops into its schools will also give something to the legislature, since they're paying for it.
Anyway, so I look at all
Okay.
this great stuff.
Since my time is up, I will end with a history lesson.
Before we end with the history lesson, should we figure out what's actionable here? Because I see a lot of stuff, and most of that is all you. So the question is,
Me and various members of partner organizations and so forth.
is there anything in particular that the sugar folks assembled can help with, or are these just things to sort of watch this space and sort of report on what you're doing? Are there things that we should be focusing on to help give you leverage in any one of these areas?
Every topic on the right is going to feed back into activities of educational content in scope. Everything we do on the right is going to feed back into sales at OLPC. We want, this is a vital piece of the program and one of the most difficult. We want joint sales calls with Nicholas. Nicholas is the hardest nut in this entire pile. Okay, so we'll see.
Yes.
And if we have to, we'll make our sales calls without him. You know, we'll sell our textbooks and say, oh, and you can go ask Nicholas about the laptops.
There's plenty of decent project material. This gives a good justification for why I have this spreadsheet. It's worthwhile. Why better compatibility with existing software?
But almost anything you work on in the hardware and software, you can say, okay, now how did that feed into getting the rest of this to happen? Well, you've done the low power design so that we can actually seriously talk about having that much electricity in a village.
Right.
But the next design, I'm told, will be even lower power. So here you go. And instead of the pull string or the hand crank, we're looking at things like the play pump, which is a merry-go-round for the schoolyard that pumps water, but we're going to put a generator on. So and another thing that I would ask people to do, anybody who's actually interested in seeing what will come of the laptop project, please join wiserearth.org. I've created a Sugar Labs page there. Please sign up and look around, because it will undoubtedly turn out that somebody on there is doing something that relates to what you're doing, and you can invite them in here and we can discuss helping out there. This is social networking for NGOs, where the object is to be able to take a program that worked in one place and deploy it in the territory of any other organization, or to get together to develop something where the people who know what to do and the people on the ground and the people with the money can all find each other. And I expect that for much of what we're doing here, there will be money found on Wiser Earth. Nicholas, yes. I'm trying to tell Nicholas in the nicest way I know that he's got to go raise more money. Because I don't get the idea that you should just only send stuff to the kids. Raise money and do stuff like paying programmers, more programmers.
I suspect Nicholas is aware of that.
He's not raising money. He raised $1 million from Google, Red Hat, several other companies at the very beginning. I haven't heard of him raising a penny since. Now, if anybody knows better, please.
Yes.
I'd be delighted to be corrected. Yes.
Partnerships in the old
If we can break some of these costs out into small little chunks and opposed to going to the Red Hats and the Intels. You can.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
no,
yes.
But you can go with the Obama model.
Yes.
And you can go for chunks of 5 and 10,000 from
Exactly.
every corporation in America, and you'll all of a sudden have a lot of money.
Yes.
On the other hand, there was a deep-seated motivation and frustration that drove the desire to contribute to the Obama campaign, which does not obviously apply here.
Oh, boy, you remember being in school? Do you remember the things you hated about being in school? Okay. Did you notice, by talking to children in other schools, how much you would have hated it? Okay. Kids will talk to their parents about, yes, you should put money into this if we make the case to the kids. And there's enormous numbers of charities that succeed by making the appeal to the children and having them tell their parents at dinner or whatever. Yeah.
With regards to your civic education, there is a professor at the Harvard Graduate School of Education named Helen Haste, who's done a lot of work in that area.
You getting
She
that?
might be worth contacting.
I know.
Okay, why don't you put that on the board?
I'm done right.
Yeah. Okay, Bernie, who's next?
We do have lunch time, I guess, now.
Anybody who wants to stay and talk to me is welcome.
We still have half an hour for
Okay.
discussion, I guess.
Oh, I see. I thought somebody else was coming on after half an hour.
I wouldn't expect pizza to be coming in. I'm sorry that I cannot get an IRC. If somebody can find a SJ and ask for pizza.
There's an IRC channel that SJ was on a moment ago on my laptop there, so.
Yeah. If you find
Half an
SJ
hour
around,
ago.
I can ask pizza, but I guess it's much better if we just go out and get something. Yeah.
Okay. But I'm perfectly prepared to go on for another half hour and then to continue talking to anybody who wants right through lunch.
So yeah, the idea is
well,
if we
good,
go
that
out,
means I have time for the history lesson.
yeah, well, we've got also a little bit of time to actually go out someplace for lunch and continue discussion over lunch, which might be nice.
Since this is a geeky audience, I assume that most people here have some idea about what happened to Copernicus and Galileo and some of the other people in those days. Does everybody know that the Catholic Church finally apologized over Galileo?
Yes.
Okay. So, it has been observed in the case of astronomy and in the cases of a number of other new theories that new theories do not take over the world primarily by converting people. They do it by being accepted by the young and waiting until the old have died off. And unfortunately, this is going to happen in, well, again, in some other countries before we get a chance to do what we need to do. But for example, Soviet communism lasted, what, 80 years? Not quite 80 years. And at least 3 generations had to die off before they got out of it. There have been other instances. Well, you know, it's like Napoleon. When he was gone, it was over. They didn't have to wait for him to die. Schools are harder. Schools are seriously entrenched social institutions. If you want to understand, excuse me, Bernie, if you want to understand what we're up against. Hey, Bernie?
This is like,
hi.
Like ex-school red.
I'm talking with Marco, we're deciding where to go for lunch.
You could do that somewhere else.
I'm not very interested in political and religious discussion.
I know, but you could, you know, just be polite if you must talk. Now,
would you return that favor
okay,
then?
I will geekify this talk.
Would you return that favor then to the rest of the week?
Sure. I will geekify this talk. There is an interesting book called The Evolution of Cooperation, which begins with computer tournaments of the Prisoner's Dilemma game, and then applies the conclusions drawn from appropriate strategies, winning strategies in Prisoner's Dilemma, to the questions of how caste systems and other class systems arise and are destroyed, and many other issues of that kind, to